Hi guys, Dr. Thomas here. Amy has invited me here to share some tips on how to prevent and recover from the flu or any virus more quickly. I'm a chiropractor and a functional medicine expert, which basically means I specialize in root cause health and health optimization, getting to the root cause of symptoms and illness. So we all know that there's about 100 viruses going around right now. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but there's a lot of things going around and we're all getting hit. First and foremost, doing the things that Amy teaches are going to be the foundation of health. Making sure we're getting adequate nutrition, making sure we're getting adequate hydration, really good sleep, positive self-talk, movement, all those healthy habits are where it's at. Additionally, from a functional medicine and health optimization standpoint, I would highly recommend that you get your micronutrient levels checked. And if you need to, you get your gut health checked, because those two things, if you're deficient in nutrients or you have a altered GI microbiome or other things going on, that can make you more susceptible to becoming ill. 80% of our immune system is in our gut. And all of those nutrients and vitamins are the cofactors for all of the reactions and processes that happen in our body every day. So prevention-wise, aside from living a healthy life, those are the two things I would recommend preemptively. In addition to that, there's supplements that you can take that are good for everyday health and health optimization that are going to help you ward off viruses. Number one is vitamin D, and that's probably no surprise to most of you. We live in a northern latitude, and it is gray all the time, and a lot of us have genetic mutations which make it hard for us to get enough vitamin D. So even if you don't know what your levels are, you should be supplementing with at least a small dose of vitamin D to help you, with many functions, but specifically immunity with this discussion. When I'm sick though, I bump up my vitamin D dose to 2 to 3 times what I'm already taking. Number two, for prevention, as well as when you're actively ill, would be fish oil. It's another good one for general health, but it's also really important for your immune system. It helps regulate your immune system. And when you're sick, it's basically an anti-inflammatory, so it helps resolve the symptoms. Fish oil, vitamin D. Vitamin A doesn't get talked about very often, but it's one of my favorites. Going back to those genetic mutations that we see with vitamin D, vitamin A actually is a really common, there's a common mutation that affects our ability to convert beta carotenes from vegetables like carrots into actually preformed vitamin A. And vitamin A is very important for immune health, among other things. So when I'm sick, I know for a fact I have that genetic mutation. So I really ramp up my vitamin A, and I like to use a liquid form because it's a little more absorbable. And I'll go through my recommended products at the end and link them so that you have access. So we talked about vitamin D, fish oil, vitamin A. And again, those are good general health ones. I will caution you that the fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A and vitamin D, you need to use caution with, as they are fat-soluble. So if you do them in large doses for a long period of time, they can become toxic. And as with anything, this is just general tips. It's not medical advice. You would need to discuss things with your doctor, obviously. So there is my disclaimer. Okay, vitamin C. Everybody knows this one's a good one. We've heard about this for years. This is like a fancy vitamin C because it has the bioflavonoids with it. It's really good for stress management as well, but just plain old absorbic acid works great. You're going to want to do it in about 1 to 2 grams. I would go for the 2-gram dose. Again, good for prevention and good to ramp up when you're actively sick. Zinc. Zinc is another one that a lot of people are deficient in and don't know it. And this will definitely affect your ability to fight off infections. 75 to 100 milligrams. I like to do it in lozenges. When people are sick, it just, especially with upper respiratory stuff, it really absorbs better. And there's about a bazillion products on the market right now that have, zinc lozenges. You can walk into any supermarket and there's a lot of really awesome choices. And zinc, again, so for prevention, but also making sure that you're dosing it when you're sick. If you know that that's a problem for you, could be helpful. Probiotics are good for prevention, and there's specific strands that I'll link, because probiotics, if you listen to the other talk I did on this platform with Amy a few months back, they're strand specific, meaning that not all probiotics are created equal. They're good for different things. So those are like the main players. Fish oil, vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin C, zinc, probiotics. Those are like the main ones. Now, let's say you end up with a post-viral inflammatory syndrome. And I've been seeing that a lot right now, where people just are still, they don't have the virus anymore, but they still have inflammation, whether it's like skin inflammation, lung inflammation, whatever, it's not resolving, or you just want to make sure that whatever your body went through, you're healing it up. This is like the next level, right? Curcumin, which also you may have heard of, it seems to be a popular one, is really great natural anti-inflammatory. It's the bioflavonoid, one of the bioflavonoids that's in turmeric, but it's just a really heavy, concentrated, more absorbable dose. And then resveratrol, which is the polyphenol in one of the polyphenols in wine, another really excellent choice. You can use those post any virus or any trauma, really, to help bring your inflammation levels back to normal. In addition to, again, fish oil. Fish oil is the other one that's going to do that for you. The other thing I wanted to talk about is when you are sick, especially with the flu or something where you're just not interested in eating, the adage is you really want to push the fluids. This is important. You don't want to become dehydrated and end up in the hospital. A part of hydration that we don't always talk about is the actual electrolyte part of it. So there's, the water and electrolytes. And there's a lot of electrolytes out on the market now, but my favorite is called Element. It comes in a lot of different flavors, tastes pretty good. They do sell it on Amazon now, so very convenient. But that's, obviously the number one thing you should be doing if you're actively ill is making sure you're getting fluids. On that note, if you enjoy the flavor of bone broth, there's some really nice products out there aside from, making your own bone broth, which you're not going to do if you're sick because you're in bed. If you have the commercially store-bought versions, there's a lot of great options out there now, but this is great. You can just put it into some hot water and it has a lot of extra yummy stuff in it, like turkey tail mushrooms, other immune modulating herbs and supplements in there. And then one other supplement I want to talk about, I know I talked about a lot. I get kind of excited when it comes to these things. So if you have any questions, just reach out. N-acetylcysteine, which again, you may have heard of over the last 3 years, it kind of got in the spotlight because it's helpful for respiratory infections because it's a mucolytic, meaning that it breaks up mucus. So if you have a lot of congestion, and you're concerned about it going into your chest, especially, or turning into a sinus infection, N-acetylcysteine is amazing. It's good for a lot of other things too. It's just an amino acid, so side effects are really low, but so that's a nice one to have on hand. I think that pretty much covers it. I know there's a lot of other supplements out there that people have said different things about, but those are a few of my faves. And again, I'm not giving you medical advice. You need to clear things with your doctor, all of that, disclaimer. But if you do have any questions about the supplements I talked about, please reach out.